I invite you to join me now in welcoming Hal Robinson up to the microphone to share his wisdom with us about relationships and spirit. Thank you, Hal.
Thank you for inviting me to come today. My oldest sister, Jermaine Sittingcrow, said it's good to be here with people like you all. You're not trying to change any, well, theoretically you're not trying to change anybody, and you're okay with people being how they are. The other part of me being here is sister would remind me, if I can explain this medicine way in a way that people can understand it, there's a good chance that I could learn it. So really, I'm here for me. I'll be real clear about that. And part of the way this medicine works, it's called a medicine way. It's very old, it's Aboriginal. It's from here, Turtle Island, about 8,000 to 10,000 years old. It's not psychology, and it's not psychiatry, it's not analysis. It's using what goes on in the world to help us learn about our self-indulgences. And in this medicine way, we have 4 self-indulgences. One of them is judgment of ourselves and other people. One is self-pity. Oh, poor me, you hurt my feelings. The third is fear, where my mind goes into the future and creates what we call in our clinic anxiety. And as you may know, there's 742 pharmaceutical drugs for anxiety. Is that okay? So you can always get high. You might not get over your anxiety. And the fourth one is self-importance, where I might think I know it's good for how other people should behave. And it's only for their own good, you understand? That's what we call elephant crap. So this medicine says that the way I manage my internal energy determines what I can connect with, meaning levels of consciousness. And what I can connect with in different levels of consciousness determines what I will perceive. So at some levels of consciousness, I see only certain things. At others, I'm able to, what people call see energy. That doesn't happen when my mind is full of judgment or self-pity or fear or self-importance. So in order to do these things, this medicine is taught to assess other people. That's not judge. Assess other people in order to assess ourselves. Because people will do things that we will react to. And if we use it in a certain way, in a stalking sort of way, we can learn something about ourselves. And so this last month, there's been 2 really great things happen that have become teaching stories. This medicine was given not by being written down, but in teaching stories, the oral tradition. So a little while ago, about 2 weeks ago, and I told this story of one of our training groups. We have training groups to learn how to do this medicine. And one of the guys said, if you tell that story, people are not going to like you. I said, okay, let's see. So here we go. I got nothing to lose. So anyway, I was asked to do a presentation at a local university that will remain nameless. And I was doing a presentation in what they call their counseling psychology department, a PhD level. These were all doctorate level people. I never did that. I'm certain these people are much smarter than I am intellectually. Anyway, doing this teaching story, sharing with them some of the medicine, and a lady raised her hand and said, I'm really offended by the way you talk. Okay, tell me how you got offended. She said, you used a gender-specific pronoun. Yeah? Yes. The story was about a man, so I used the word he. And she said, you don't talk like that. I said, really? She said, I really get offended when you talk like that. Okay. And so I'm looking around, and people are watching. I'm going, well, I'm about to learn something here. This is cool. So let's go back over this. You get offended by the way I talk. She said, yes. Don't you understand? I'm upset and it's your fault. I said, holy cow. You're in a counseling psychology department, going for a doctorate, and you're telling me I'm responsible for how you feel? hang on. I need to come back to earth here. This is kind of blowing my mind. And she said, don't you get that? We're all responsible for each other. I said, oh my God. Okay. Okay. So we went a little further, and I said, I'm understanding that you're saying you're upset, and it's my fault, because I used a word you didn't like. She said, yes. So I'm responsible for your emotions. She said, yes. Okay. Tell me when you're real emotional like this, what's going on with your body? She said, why are you asking me? I said, well, I notice you're not breathing. You know, you're kind of holding your breath. And your eyes are real hard, and your shoulders are tense. And, you know, she said, well, you're relaxed and you shouldn't be. Okay, we're making progress here. I'm starting to understand. I said, I'm responsible for how you feel. And I should be different so you won't be upset. She said, exactly. Okay. I said, and you know how I should be? She said, yes. Yes. Are you interested? Not particularly. I kind of like to dance the way I like to dance, and I like to talk the way I like to talk, and I like to dress the way I like to dress, and I like to fix my hair the way I fix my hair. And if you're offended, that's okay with me. I don't mind. It's all right. And she said, have you ever heard of cultural, whatever that word is? It's a PC word. It has to do with you can't wear your hair that way or I'll be pissed off. That's what that's about. You can't act like that or say those words. It's an amazing concept. It's fascinating to me that this lady is telling me I'm responsible, maybe, for how she feels. And behind that is, she knows how I should behave. Okay? And there's another level to this. The other level is that there's something wrong with me. And she knows how to fix it. So our relationship went like this. Guess which one I was in her eyes? So I'm down here being her devil. Yeah. I'll be your devil. Go ahead. I'll be your devil. So where we're getting to with this lady has this belief that when she behaves like this, she's being strong, defending her boundaries. She said, this is my way of being strong. That's okay. She said, what do you think? I said, you don't need my approval. Good Lord. You already told me you don't approve of me, so my approval ain't going to be much. Right? She said, it's not what I mean. She said, it's strong, isn't it? Well, not in my world. No. In my world, you're a leaf at the mercy of the wind. Somebody says something you don't like and your whole day is blown. You're going to go home tonight thinking about me. You're going to be in your bed tonight tossing and turning saying, I wish I'd said. You're a leaf at the mercy of the wind. And the way I was taught, that sucks. Everybody understands that word, right? In our clinic, when I work with little people, 5 to 7 years old, they understand the word sucks. When I work with people that are 80, 95, they understand that word. It's not fun to live like a leaf at the mercy of the wind. What's even more weird in this way of looking at the world, this medicine way, is she wants the wind to change. She really wants the wind to change. She wants people to be different. She wants them to talk different, the world to be different. And she knows how it should be fixed. So, the lady was an incredible instructor for me. I had no idea how deeply this was in our culture. That people are going to graduate with a PhD in counseling psychology. And they're supposedly going to help other people be more calm and peaceful. I don't quite get that's going to happen. Because it seems this world is not going to change if I don't like it. I mean, okay, who cares? Really, the wind doesn't care. So this medicine is, we begin to look for where we are leaves at the mercy of the wind. And it's not that hard to find. So this lady is a teaching story for us. She shows us how life is if we're a leaf at the mercy of the wind. If that's hard for you, think about the next time somebody pulls in front of you. What's your first thought? I bet it's not bless you. Bless you. Yeah, okay, I'm talking about me sometimes too, right? If my blood sugar's low, or I haven't slept very well, or I'm obsessed about something going on with one of my grandkids, I could move into that dark energy. So that's where I'm a leaf at the mercy of the wind, and that's what I'm looking for all the time. And I'm in this world to help me find it. Every place, I'm a leaf at the mercy of the wind. Now what that means is, if I can find when I'm a leaf at the mercy of the wind, I begin to have some choice. If all this crap is unconscious and I'm just behaving automatically, there's no choice. There's no awareness. So years ago, one of my grandchildren, they're all much older now, when she was about 4, she would say to me, Papa, don't say that to me, I'll get mad, and I'm not nice when I'm mad. She hadn't noticed that. And she said, and if you keep saying that, I won't love you anymore. And she turned her back. So I'd be sure to get the message. And so I was thinking about that, like, where did she learn to use love as a weapon? Holy crap, that's not love. Where does she learn to use words as weapons and want the world to be different? But I'm thinking, she's only 4 years old. What's scary for me is when I act like that. And I'm in the world with a lot of people that seem to be what a psychologist would say. And remember, I don't do that anymore. But what a psychologist would call emotionally immature. Well, I want the world to be different, so I won't be upset. So that's a really good teaching story for me. It's good for me to look at that kind of stuff. Where do I want the world to be different so I won't be upset? Where do I attach my happiness to other people's behavior? And where do I want the wind to be different so I won't be a leaf at the mercy of the wind? So this medicine, we look for those things. We're curious. We're looking about ourselves. We're using the rest of the world to help us wake up. So there's another teaching story that's sort of the polarity of that one. The yin, the yang. Let's call that first story yin. Here's a yang story. The lady came in and she's telling me about her husband's new business and how it opened up and it's doing really good and he's so busy now that he's saying, my back's to the wall. Man, this is really hard. I got to get this done. People are going to be unhappy. And she could see his blood pressure's going up and he's not having a good time. He's not really happy. He's really busy. He's upset. But he prayed to be really busy. You got that weird thing that went on? He prayed to be really busy and he's really busy. Now he's upset. So she says, I could see what he could do. I said, tell me what you mean. She said, well, it's like laying out breadcrumbs where I'll leave these little hints and he'll follow the crumbs. And after a while, he'll get it. He'll get what I was trying to show him. And then he'll feel better. And she said, yay, Mike. So my thought was, wait a minute, something here is off. Let's change this around. She said, what do you mean? I say, yay, me. She goes, yay, me. You mean I'm doing this just for me? And she has a lot of energy that comes up. Her face is red, and she has a lot of energy. She said, are you implying that I'm helping my husband to make myself feel good? That possibility exists. Yeah, that if you can fix him, yay, you. She said, well, that's so self-important. I said, yes, ma'am, it is. Yeah. She says, that's using my husband to make myself feel better. When I can fix him, I feel better. She said, that's using him. I said, there's that possibility, yes. And she got really quiet for a minute. She said, you know, I do this with a lot of people. And I said, I believe you. She said, I give a lot of my time to help fix other people. She said, I'm very generous that way. I don't know, it sounds like a false generosity to me. It's giving with strings attached. I'll give you this and you'll love me. I'll be your savior. I'll help you. That's not a string, that's a cable. You get better and I'll feel good. This is my drug. Goes directly into my vein. If I can fix you, I feel good. So she said in the beginning, I have trouble being intimate with my husband. No kidding. No kidding. This might have something to do with it. These are parallel lines. If you remember your basic physics, parallel lines never touch. We have to be at the same level for to have intimacy. You can't be about fixing me, and I can't be about fixing you. Intimacy happens here. In Lakota medicine, they would say, the two wings of the bird better be equal in power. They won't look the same. One will be shorter, and one might lose a few feathers, but those wings better be equal in power. Or that bird will fly in circles and die. Bird is the relationship. So when a couple comes in and they have the same argument over and over and over again, then the first thing we're learning is a couple is doing this with each other. And they're pissed off because the other one's doing it. That's the fun part. If you'll be different, I'll be happy. That seems to be the theme song for our culture right now. You be different and I'll be happy. So this lady's telling me, she says, it looks like a lot of what I do is just to get approval from other people. That seems to be true. And she's really quiet. And she said, I don't get that. I said, well, you know, my part's fairly easy. If you're always looking for approval from the outside, tell me how much approval there is on the inside. And she started crying, which was sort of an answer to the question. It wasn't really a question, it was a statement. Tell me. We don't do many questions in our stuff. Questions are interrogations. Cops and lawyers do interrogations. In this medicine way, we make statements. Tell me, help me understand. I'd like to know. I'm curious about statements. If you have teenagers, it works better to make statements. Because if you ask a question, the answer is always, I don't know. I don't know. Hanging around with my teenagers a little bit one year, years ago, listen to them. They never say, I don't know to each other. I'm standing there thinking about that. Now, this is cool. I'm learning something here. They never say, I don't know to each other. They only say, I don't know to me or their mother. I think that's code for, I'm not going to tell you. It's possible. It's possible. I learned a lot from my teenagers, too. So it's a good thing. They've been patient with me. Yes. As the years go by, Dad, you finally mellowed out. Yeah, it's true. With your help. I no longer want to kill you. So, my children, the world I'm in, they help me see these things that I react to. These things that I react to help me find my 4 self-indulgences. This medicine way is called the warrior's way. The warrior does not go to war with the world at all. We leave everybody else alone. We're apolitical, we don't care about politics, and we're non-militant. We're not trying to change anything at all. We're just looking for what this world reflects back to us. Back to us. How often do I move into judgment, self-pity, fear, and self-importance? To stalk that. To stalk that. To look for that in an honorable way because I'm cleaning up my stuff, the stuff I inherited. If my thoughts are judgmental and critical and self-righteous and self-important, that's not because I have a personality disorder. That's because of my training. When I was born, up to 18 months old, I wasn't judgmental of myself or anybody else. I didn't care if I was fat or skinny or black or white or rich or poor. And I didn't care if my friends were fat or skinny or black or white or rich or poor. There was no judgment. That's learned. I was programmed to see the world through the eyes of judgment. So in order to clean that stuff up, because I now know that, I'm aware of how quickly it is to move into judgment. That's a downhill slide that's real easy. I'm looking for all those places I'm reactive to people. So I have these people that come into my office or where I did that presentation at that university that are showing me some stuff, teaching me some stuff, assessing the world around me in order to assess myself, to use the world as a mirror rather than as an enemy. So a spiritual warrior in this medicine looks for where we are reactive and we stalk our self-indulgences and we leave everybody else alone. They can either do that or not do that. It's not our business. And we don't ask people to be different so we won't be upset. So hopefully this medicine makes some sense to you. As the guy in one of our training groups said, some people are not going to like this. So my part was, tell me why. And he said, you're asking people to be responsible for how they feel. I said, no, I'm not. I don't give a damn whether they do it or not. Really, it makes no difference to me at all. I'm looking for where I'm not responsible for my reactions, my emotions, my judgment, my self-pity, my fear, my self-importance. I don't care whether they clean theirs up or not. That's not my business. My business keeps me busy. So the last part of this story is that judgmental thoughts, is a learned way of thinking. We're not stuck there. We can shift that if we're aware of it. If we're aware of it, we can shift it. If it's automatic, repetitive behavior, we won't shift it. So judgment, you did something wrong, is the twin of self-pity. You did something wrong, you hurt my feelings. You did something wrong, poor me. You be different so I won't be upset. So the way that was taught to me, that's a quick road into hell, particularly in a relationship. If I expect my sweetie to be different so I'll be happy, and if I think I have the right to tell my sweetie how to be different so I'll be happy. So that's what this medicine is about. This is called walking the good red road. The good red road is north, the direction of spirit. The good red road is narrow. There's only a width for one person. Each person wants to walk this road solo. The road might be crowded. I haven't noticed that it is. But the road could be crowded. But it's an individual journey where we look for our stuff and we leave the world alone. So the black road is west. That's either chaos or potential, depending what we make of it. And the black road is real wide, and it's kind of downhill. Black road is when I get into judgment, fear, self-pity, and self-importance, and I believe my judgments. When I believe my judgments about other people and I don't see the mirror, I'm on the black road. When I see my judgments of other people and I use it as a mirror, whoa, where did I behave that way? I veer on back and I start back on the red road. The red road's slightly uphill. It's not crowded. And as the guy in the group said it, some people don't like this medicine. It holds people personally responsible. I said, but Patrick, I'm really not holding anybody responsible. This is all a matter of choice. Now, some people would refer to go see a counselor or a psychologist or psychiatrist where they can talk about the things they're upset about, the things they feel bad about. Or they can begin to explore. How did I get here? What's my part? And if I really don't want to keep repeating this, what could I do different? So that's all real personal. It's using the world to help me find my self-indulgences. Not to change the world or make the world a better place. Now it's possible somebody in here is going to say, well, how do you help other people? After they ask. Always after they ask. That's why I'm not in the phone book. I don't advertise. People have to track me down. Because all I can do is go as fast as you can go. And people say, should I bring some of my medical stuff? I said, no, please, no. Don't bring your psychological assessments, your MMPI, your Rorschach. No. Just bring you, and all you need to be is tired of suffering and curious. If you're tired of suffering, repeating the same old behavior over and over and over, and you're curious, you got it. You don't need to bring anything else. So the last story before I end today is when I was getting some of this training, some of it was from an old man named Irwin, Navajo, medicine man. And I was dating his niece at the same time I was in his teaching circle. And she didn't speak English and I didn't speak Navajo. And we had the same fight I had with every woman. Just the most amazing thing. So I was telling Erwin, I said, Erwin, women are hard. And he looks at me. He said, yeah, I heard you're dating my niece. I said, yeah. He said, we had the same fight. He said, yeah, you do, don't you? Same fight with every woman. I said, it's true. Women are hard. And he looks at me. don't know about you, boy. I said, what do you mean? He said, I just don't know. You're just kind of a dumbass. I said, what do you mean? Here I am trying to learn this medicine. And he said, all of the women you're with, you have the same fight. What is the common denominator? Okay, Erwin, we've talked about this enough today. Can't we go learn some spiritual things? And he said, this is it, fool. This is it. This is how you are in the world. Because the way you run your internal energy determines what level of consciousness you connect with and what you're able to perceive. You're running your consciousness the same way with every woman. Whether you're in Arizona or Alaska or New Mexico or Florida, you're doing the same dance with every woman. And you keep looking for the right woman. Good luck with that. So, if you understand these stories, why not? They're just teaching stories. They're about who we are in the world and how to use the world around us if you want to. It's kind of a private journey. You can do it if you want. What's nice about it is I can be stalking myself all the time. It's very interesting. Now, there's a downside to this. So, one of the people that's been in the training for a couple of years said, you should have put a warning sign on stalking. I don't know what you mean. She said, well, once I begin to look at the world this way, I can't back out. I can't pretend I don't know. I can't play dumb anymore. I can't say, I'm upset and it's your fault and you be different. See, I can't do that anymore. She said, you put a warning sign on it. So here's the downside of stalking. That wasn't it. There's more. The downside of stalking is that if you begin to look at the world in this way, as everything that's touched by spirit and a spiritual endeavor, and everybody you're talking to is the Buddha for you, if you decide to do that, and then you go to a normal party where everybody's saying, oh, he hurt my feelings, he pulled in front of me and ruined my day, and everybody's nodding their heads, he said, you're going to think everybody's drunk and you're the only one sober. And that's not going to be fun anymore. Something's going to happen to your relationship if you decide to be responsible for your emotions, your thoughts, and your behavior, and you stop blaming the world. I hope you understand what I'm implying here. Turkeys and eagles can't mate. And Creator made lots of turkeys. Damn few eagles. And Creator loves them equally. But the turkey sees the world from a certain view. He never flies very high, and he's always nervous, and he has to be around other turkeys to feel safe. And his eyes are on the side of his head. You know what that means? That he's lunch for somebody. Deer, rabbits, eyes on the side of the head. Lunch. Eagle. His eyes are in front. He's a predator. He flies by himself, and he's unwilling to mate with the turkey. He's willing to be alone, so he finds another eagle. He flies high enough that he can see the curvature of the earth and a mouse at the same time. He can see the smallest view and the biggest view of how it fits together. And therefore, he's a symbol for a lot of indigenous people. He can see the biggest view and the smallest view at the same time. So this old man Irwin would tell me, you have a choice. You can live like a turkey, which is how you were raised, where you're afraid all the time, and you're worried about what people think about you, and have to be around certain kind of people to feel safe, and you never quite fly very high. But don't worry, Spirit loves you anyway. Okay. He said, or you can look at your part that keeps you glued to the ground. I said, what do you mean? He said, your heaviness, your judgment, your self-pity, your fear, your self-importance, your heaviness keeps you glued to the ground. You can't fly. So, Irwin, where will I find it? He said, well, you're dating my niece. I think you found it. I don't want to hear that, Irwin. He said, everything. Wake up, homeboy. Every relationship, every moment, everything, Spirit is right there. The way you run your energy determines whether or not you can see it. So, I honor Irwin. I don't think he's on the earth anymore. My older sisters remain sitting crow. I speak their names with gratitude and appreciation. They helped me get this far. And fortunately, I have things happen like that lady who said, you know, you can't talk like that, I'll be offended. It's good for me to have people like that in my life, help me remember how easy it is to walk the black road. So thank you all for your time. I appreciate the opportunity. Hope God.
We're breathing into that message, feeling our bodies settling in to the truth of who we truly are. With eyes open or eyes closed, we feel this connection to these rich stories, words. And we allow the words and the wisdom to sink in as it's words swirl through this room, as we hear them with the ears of our hearts, as we sink into the fullness of our being. Won't you take a few moments to open yourself to the awareness that there are many guides and teachers and lessons. Many learnings from our challenges. Maybe there are specific words or phrases that came through Hal this morning that spoke to your heart, to your experience, to your dreams, to your challenges, to the situations in your life. Maybe there were seeds planted in your consciousness that will come to fruition in ways you can't begin to imagine right now. So as we sink into this silence alone and together, let us open to the awareness of this good red road calling us forward, onward, upward, each in our own way, in the silence. Now, won't you take a moment to remember that you are not the only one to benefit from this time, this way of learning, this way of knowing. Open to the awareness that there are other loved ones and strangers alike who are blessed by your willingness to learn and to grow, to face and embrace the shadows, as well as your blessings, and the many lessons that come your way. It's all an opportunity to be the warrior on the path. Take a few moments now to send consciousness conscious blessings to another person or persons or situation by simply sending forth your love, your light, your prayer, your affirmation for the highest good of all. Not asking for anything in return, but offering it up. And as we do so, may all beings be blessed by your willingness, our willingness to do this. And for this we say thank you.